Hi guys, Ashley here. Today I'm bringing you Artem Zhdanov straight from Shanghai, and we are going to talk about China, what changed in the market, consumer preferences, how are people behaving, what are businesses facing in the market. So basically bringing you first-hand information from the market. Artem, welcome on the show.
Hi, hello.
Artem is the founder of a couple of businesses. First of all, he's got a brand which is called Me. It is for foreigners and Chinese that want to basically connect with their Chinese heritage. At the same time, he is a founder of You China, and he's the founder of biggest Russian-speaking media about China in, again, the Russian-speaking world. So it's a pleasure to have you here. Artem, I know that you have very little time, so let me jump straight into that. How is everything in Shanghai?
Back to normal, actually, almost back to normal. We have a lot of traffic jams, and on the weekend I was out. I think it even were more people outside than before the epidemic. I think all people are tired to stay at home all the time, and we had a nice weather, amazing spring weather. And so like streets and parks were full of people. Like everyone will go out. For sure, everyone wearing masks still, and everywhere you have a temperature check.
Yeah.
But for other things, it's back to normal.
Yeah. How do
If you
people
talk
feel?
about,
How do people feel, right? Being back to normal, like they're outside, but in terms of the sentiment, how do you feel people feel? Safe?
I think like yeah, because like we have these reports, right? That because like there is not any new cases even in Hubei for like 5 days, and all cases in Shanghai are not local. It's imported cases, but also not that many. It's just like about like 5 to 10 cases, and most of them they got disinfected people in airports, so the people didn't come to the streets of Shanghai. That's why like I think like it feels safe, really.
Now that's beautiful to hear. I'm very glad. What about businesses? Because I know that you are working out of, first of all, several offices, and you're also a part of a big business community. So what can you say about the way businesses feel at this uncertain time for the rest of the world?
For businesses, it's tough for sure. I'm in co-working space. It's called in We Work Labs. It's a place for startups and small companies. We Work made this special We Work Labs kind of incubator, and I still see the space is 80% empty. Many people didn't
Mm.
come back yet, or they already used to work from home, and they're still a bit scared and afraid. No, I mean, like when I say back to normal, what atmosphere we can feel on the streets, but still many
Mm.
people staying in their home is the first thing, or they come from abroad and they should stay for 14 days quarantine.
Mm.
And many of people stay with the children. The biggest problem
Mm.
is many people have children, and universities and schools didn't come back to normal yet. That's why you don't have anyone who will stay with your children. That's why
Mm.
offices still like half empty, or even like in
Mm.
our case 80% empty, because it's startups, most of them like IT startups, so they're okay to work from home.
Mm, And when you say schools are still closed, so we know that in China right now, obviously each province and each big city makes their own policy. When do you go back to, let's say, school, etc. But so far in Shanghai, what are the news? When do we anticipate that kids are going to be back in physical classrooms?
Probably not earlier than middle April, I think, or even later. For example, I also have some interns who study in universities,
Yeah.
and they didn't get any official announcement yet. They're saying maybe in the end of March, but then now they say maybe in the early April. Probably they can postpone it more. So no one knows yet.
Right, right. And when we talk about the sentiment among entrepreneurs within China, be it foreigners and also locals, do you feel that the sentiment is like in the rest of the world? It's, oh my God, crisis, horrible, what to do? Or are people more composed? Are people um, approaching it as an opportunity?
For IT companies, for sure, and I was surprised how many companies, even offline companies, they uh, adapted to this new normal, to the new world, to this epidemic situation and emergency. So we see many different cases how like offline become online, and how like many restaurants, even the most of the margin was coming from offline, they start to create different online things. And
Mm,
yeah, but in terms of like traditional business, it's tough really. I talked to the different, we have like our China company helps people from abroad to work with Chinese manufacturers and Chinese partners
right.
and suppliers. And Chinese partners saying that it's really tough because they don't have a lot of orders now, and many people still didn't come back, their workers, so they cannot work on 100% capacity yet. And they have a lot of orders, or some orders that come from the government, and government
Mhm.
ask for low price and like earlier, so they should postpone other orders. And it's really for not big enterprises and not big factories, it was tough time, and it's still they still need to figure out how to live this year. But we know that the government already announced a lot of different measures to support local local producers and
What
local
are some of
companies.
those measures? What are some of them?
Even actually, even foreign companies got it. I got just announcements on my like just a message that even for all foreign enterprise, they postpone I mean, like I can don't pay taxes till the second quarter. So and
Mm,
then for some enterprises, they even give a very good deals for loans and credits and banks. So even like very low percentage, but it's really I cannot tell you the exact numbers because it changed so fast, like everyday news. And even like every uh, district of Shanghai, they have different
mm,
policies.
mm. And I love that flexibility because here, for instance, across the border in Shenzhen, we have government also offices giving out their physical spaces for businesses. So if you do not want or cannot pay your rent anymore, you can either rent a government spot, or if you're already in the government building, you don't have to pay rent for 2 months. So it's really interesting how fast the whole ecosystem could adapt, as you said.
Yeah,
In your
actually in Shenzhen office, our main office in Shenzhen, we got a 50% discount for March for our office.
Ooh,
Yeah,
from the
we
government or
paid
from the
less
landlord?
from the landlords. But the point is, it's officially a law. If landlords have government in their shareholders, they must to give
Ah,
some discount. But everyone needs at least like 30%. But our landlord gave us like 50% discount for March. Yeah, good.
yeah. So this is something that's helping. Here in Hong Kong, we're sitting and basically every day we are watching businesses die. And one reason is, of course, it's not only about Corona. It's also because of the, the social situation that was here a couple of months ago. But our landlords are totally killing it because nobody is giving rent reductions, and a lot of businesses just purely go out of business. You can imagine that, right?
Yeah.
What about, yeah, what about some of the industries, as you mentioned, there are some industries that you really feel are benefiting from it, as you said, tech companies, the
Yeah.
big boys, obviously Alibaba, JD's, Tencent, ByteDance, and all. Anybody else that you've seen locally or within China in general that are really benefiting or that are doing a great job?
Uh, I think even all small startups are somehow affiliated with Alibaba or some Tencent companies. So I don't know. All leads to these companies. So
Yeah, so you need to be part of the ecosystem to leverage this opportunity, right?
yeah, sure. I don't know really. We have bunch of startups here, but I don't think like any of these startups got any benefits from it.
Right.
For sure, some like educational startups, yes, because people have time to have these classes, and even some gyms, offline gyms, they start to give these online courses how you can work out at home.
Free, right?
So
It's a free course.
depends. It was free courses. It was like not only free courses, but so even like yeah, we know a lot of coaches do some online consulting. But the point is, even like really traditional offline gyms, they start to make this online online gym courses. So and the interesting thing, even famous bars and clubs, they made this kind of parties on quarantine. So I mean, like they put a DJ in the club, but it's empty. So people having fun in their at their home.
Living room.
So it's yeah. So it's kind of streaming, but people still sharing their screens, so we can see like how people having fun at home. And so
Yeah.
you're staying at home, but you're still in the community which you used to go in the club.
Yeah, I heard and saw them. Unfortunately, I was not able to join any one of them because I only know about them after they finish. But I definitely saw screenshots and how it all looks. What about the habits? Do you feel that any habits on how Chinese people live right now has changed? They become more digital, maybe some new apps that everybody is using, maybe some new habits again, maybe people start watching TV again. What changed after this 6 week of lockdown?
Yeah, amazing thing that I think after this epidemic is over, uh, even like 80 years old grannies will use like Hema or Meituan, because I live in an old Chinese community in the city center Friends Concession, where there's a lot of these old grannies, aunties, and old guys. They even usually you can see they going to like wet markets or to some like very cheap supermarkets and getting these things. But when it was quarantine and was all the situation, I saw even grannies was getting their food by like Hema or Meituan. So it means like granny finally start to use this thing. And actually, I think they used to it, because even now when it's like all is open, I still see these packages from Hema supermarkets near granny's door. So it means like they still use it. That's interesting. And yeah, for sure it changed a lot. Even and what else, people yeah, made and Douyin and all these apps. I thought like everyone in China already have this, right? And
Yeah,
there is no any opportunity to grow more with users in China mainland. But no, it got like more than 10% or something like new users, and that's like a lot. It means like even we know that, for example, Douyin, TikTok is for like younger generations, but it means
yeah.
like people were so bored, so they tried everything, And even like me, before I didn't use Douyin, really, I thought it was like I don't understand it. Even me download it, and I see also like a lot of my older friends, even Chinese people who usually say, TikTok is like just some stupid and funny things. I don't want to spend time there, and they download it and they used to use it. Yeah, it's interesting.
So it's just becoming a lot more digital, just moving towards this digital age at a different pace. What do you think is going to happen right now? Do you feel that there will be, a recovery? A lot of people are hoping for that the whole market right now, the Chinese people will finally, get out of home and start consuming, and the market will go back to normal in summer? Or do you feel that the habits will change completely and there will be a total new normal and the recovery is not going to go like this? It will be something completely different. What's your take?
uh, I talked to Chinese friends, and I mean, probably Shanghai is special. People in
Yeah,
Shanghai are rich, really, and
yeah,
you can see all shopping malls and all this like
absolutely.
shopping streets with the luxury brands are full already. But if
Already.
yeah, but if we talk about another cities, tier 2, tier 3 cities, and I talked to
Mm-mm-mm.
friends from that areas, they probably won't spend anything because they're afraid of now world crisis. They know that Chinese economy also depends on the world. So we have this
Mm,
global economy, right? And we
mm.
see that problems in Europe, in Russia, in America. So that's why many Chinese people and entrepreneurs, they try to reduce cost, and even now all back to normal. They plan their budget in like very like in terms that it could be very tough situation. I mean, like, okay,
Yeah,
so everyone like reduce their spendings, and even all back to normal, they don't want to go to spend more and more things.
yeah. I
But
have
for
the
sure
same
this
insight. Yeah, when it comes to smaller cities, I have a similar insight that people just don't feel like spending a lot. They want to wait and see. And also in lower tier cities, a couple of yeah, but basically some percentage of people lost their jobs as well, or they are not able, as you said, they're not able to still return to their previous job after the Chinese New Year plus lockdown plus whatever. So it's a lot more conservative in many ways.
Yeah, so I think they just will keep their savings at least like for one, I don't know, 6 months, or even till
Mm,
the end of this year, because no one
mm,
knows what will happen. So I don't
mm.
think we will see a lot of but anyway, I think like online they will spend more, because if they stay at home, or like they don't go out to hang out too much, you can still
Shopping is
I
a
don't know.
hobby, huh?
Yeah, you have fun, but with
Mm,
a lower budget online, like, and this is
right.
again the game industry. We forget to mention that like game industry was booming when it was like when it was epidemic in China. Like all people was just playing games. It's big in China, and it got
And it
much
got
bigger.
even bigger. Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So I even thought like these industries in China are already very mature. No one will. I mean, like it couldn't grow so fast so much. But this crisis showed us that it's always space to grow. It's not the peak.
I also loved your story. A couple of days ago, I was checking out your Instagram, and I saw the story that you were recently visiting a friend of yours in Shanghai, and you were prevented from entering the building because you are a foreigner. Tell us about that story. I found it fascinating.
Yeah, that's interesting that like just like about 3 days ago, I saw this advertisement online. It was like announcement on one of the hair salon in China. It said like no foreigners and people with a temperature over 37.3 degrees. So foreigners and people with a temperature. It means like not any foreigners allowed there. And then I wanted to find where is it, and still no any information. And I thought like, okay, maybe just like exclusion, just one case. And then next day I went for dinner in Shanghai, which is like famous for its like welcoming all foreigners from all the world, and one of the best cities in Asia for expats. And then I went to compound in city center, and then I was coming with my Chinese friend, who also not living in that compound. And then Balan, a security guy there, he said like, okay, you go and you cannot. I said, what do you mean? He said like, you're a foreigner, we don't allow foreigners to come in. I say,
Mm.
okay, because like many shopping malls and restaurants, they checking your uh, health QR code. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's in Alipay, it's taking a lot of different data. Was you like in other regions, or maybe you contacted with some infected person? So if it's green, it means like you're okay, you can come in. And then they also checking your travel history. You scan QR code, and then they
Mm,
see like in past 14 days, where have you been? Have you been
mm,
abroad, or maybe in Hubei, whatever? So I showed all these things to him, and I said, I've been staying in Shanghai from December. I didn't move anywhere. He said, like, it doesn't matter. Probably you have another foreign colleagues and friends, and you hang out in the foreign places and restaurants, so you have more risks to get this infection. So sorry, no. Ling Dao, he said, like, okay, it was
the
the
boss
boss.
told us,
Last,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Mm,
was like,
mm.
I'm really shocked. I tried
So you
even
couldn't
with
get
Chinese
in.
language. Yeah, and my Chinese friend cannot help me. And then I was thinking about like calling police, whatever, but I didn't have time for that. And I know what they will say. They will say like, it's not our thing. You need to call to another place. I don't know really how. And after I published this, I received, I think, indirect messages on LinkedIn and Instagram. I received over 50 these kind of stories from all over the China. People like
Mm.
really complaining about like they cannot get to restaurant, they cannot get to shopping mall sometimes, they cannot go to compound. And I wouldn't say it's like, I still feel safe. It's not any aggression to foreigners, but it we can see that it's not like just only 1-2 cases, it's a lot. And through
Mm.
Shanghai, because Chinese people see this news and you open TikTok, they are really scared about like imported cases, because most of imported cases they have now, most of new cases are imported cases in China.
Imported by, yeah, 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 yeah,
But
by.
they don't mention that most of these people with imported cases, infected people, are Chinese nationals or Chinese ABC, like overseas Chinese, Huachao. And
Mm.
like but
Do
we
you
cannot do
feel that
anything with it.
relationship, this is the last question because I know you need to run. Do you feel that this relationship between, you know, foreigners and Chinese nationals within mainland China, the local foreigners, not the Laowais, but the Laomais, the ones that live there, do you think it will change after this coronavirus? Like, you've been there literally since forever, and suddenly you're not welcome to restaurants, you cannot come into compound. Do you think this is going to change some social dynamics, or it's going to come and pass soon, and it's going to be over?
I think it's just because I don't think Chinese make this on purpose, right? To revenge because it was discrimination of Asians just like 1 month
Yeah.
ago. It's not revenge, but the people really scared. They got like so
Mm.
tough time recently. Like still, China is like one of the leaders on infected people and deaths too. So for sure, it was very tough and people scared, people in panic. And when you have emergency situation, sometimes people even cannot use their logic or their like mind, and they start to be like I don't know, with their real nature. So I think when it passed, all will come back to normal. But for now, still a bit not, still a bit sad about this for sure. But probably I'm waiting for, because if it will be escalating all the things like Chinese foreigners, I think government using their media
Will
channels
step in.
probably
Mm.
will explain them that not every foreigner is potential infected person. Many foreigners staying in China for a long time, so they don't have any problems, and they should like should
Calm the market down, right? Calm it a
yeah, yeah,
little
yeah.
bit down.
They
Mm.
should keep calm people. Then saying that if foreigner have this healthy QR code, so it means it's the same as any Chinese here. So it's no any risks.
I love it. Artem, thank you so much for being with us today. Definitely very interesting insight. I was just telling you earlier that it's been the longest time since I haven't been in Shanghai. It's been 2 months already. We just cannot travel because of the travel bans. You're bringing us first-hand information from the beautiful city. Stay safe, stay strong, and definitely have a lot of exploration and what's happening in this new normal environment in China. I appreciate that, and have a great day.